Hi, welcome to the 8th December 2021 and we are here for another opening of another door of the Inkvent Calendar by Diamine, the red edition for 2021. And today, as I told you, it is number 8 and let's see what is behind this flap. And I would say it would be a purple ink, but it actually is, I think it would be a rose ink, pink ink, because it's called Raspberry Rose. I'm not, it is a standard ink. I don't know about you, but I like I don't know if I like this color. I didn't see it yet. Of course, it is completely sealed, but I have to say that although sometimes I find raspberry color interesting, I really hate raspberries. So just a gastronomic thought. I don't like raspberries at all. So let's see if I like the ink. Stay there and I'll be right back. And I'm back for the swatch of the Raspberry Rose. So let's uncap the bottle and let's open the knife, the big one, and also get my pipette and put 3 drops of ink. 1, 2, 3. It's done. Now I will just close the bottle so accidents are avoided. I will put it here on the side and let's see how this Raspberry Rose is really strong or light, and I'm very curious about it. Strange. It looks like more of a burgundy to me, more than raspberry. But I guess that's what I'm seeing now. We'll have to wait until it's dry to have the full final effect. So I will be back once this is dry. And now let's see how this Raspberry Rose will perform on paper. And the swatch is dried and let's see. It really is kind of a raspberry color, although if the lighting is a little duller, it's not as strong, I mean, it will look a little bit more on the brownish side. But I think it is a nice color if it is described as raspberry. Now, I want to compare it with other inks, with other ink swatches, and I have 3 ink swatches, which two are different and one is very similar. Let's go and look at the Monte Grappa Fuchsia. And the Monte Grappa Fuchsia, I would say it almost is in this, not exactly the same color family, but it has much more pink on it than the Raspberry Rose. It is a more intense color. The same thing you can say about the Pilot Hiroshizuku Yamabudo, which is similar to this one, but a little bit more not so bright. So you may see some more similarities, but these are definitely more on the pink side. And finally, I have the Diamine Inkvent Calendar 2019 mulled wine. And this mulled wine, although it's more kind of a burgundy, and this one is more kind of a raspberry, I would say these 2 inks are very similar, both on the darker tones and on the lighter tones. So I would say that this is the first ink that is almost a duplicate. There are some inks which are not duplicates, like some that have one has shimmer, the other one doesn't. One has sheen, the other one doesn't. But in this case, I think I cannot say that the inks are the same. I would need to also watch to the pattern on the chromatography, but I would say they are really, really similar. So if you find this, you're getting over this ink, you can get that one. Maybe this one is just a little bit less pinkish, but am I sure of that? No, I'm not. I would say they are almost the same ink. Now, which pens did I choose for this video? I chose two pens. I chose two Kaweco pens this time. This is a Kaweco Perkeo and it's called Bad Taste, and it really has a very strange color combination. Black nib. This one is a fine. I think you can read it. I'm having always some trouble to focus. There. And I also brought here the Kaweco Student. This is a new color. This is the 30s, Kaweco Student 30s Blues, which has a raspberry color. Let me get the ink. I think it's kind of almost a match. And oops, it has a broad gold nib inside, so we can have a larger or wider line variation. So with these two pens I wrote in the three papers that I usually show, and let's start with the Moleskine. And in the Moleskine we have the swatch that can get quite dark. You have some shading on the broad nib, but less shading on this one. The ink looks darker on the Perkeo and looks lighter and more shading on the Student. On the optic paper, Oxford optic paper, that is even more visible. There you have the very dark writing of the fine Perkeo, and when you go to the broad Student, it looks almost as if the ink has some water on it. So it puts more ink on paper, but in a different way, and it seems lighter ink. And then we go for the Navigator copy paper, and you can see the same kind of effect. Darker there, lighter here with the broad nib on the Student. About the shading, you don't have that much, you have a little bit with the broad nib. About the behavior, there I just spilled some ink there, so it can really bleed through, and you can see there. It bleeds through also on the Moleskine paper and on the optic paper by Oxford. It also bled through a little bit when I made the swatch, not in the rest of the writing sample. But so there is this ink, it is more spicy in the way you use it with paper. It may not go perfectly well every time. And finally, let's go for the final writing sample. We are talking about the Rhodia paper, which is the same as this, and you have there the drying time, quite long. After 50 seconds it is almost dry, not completely, but around 50 seconds to dry, and there you can see there is not water resistance. Now I don't remember if I showed the chromatography, which I show usually on the videos. I may have forgotten, I don't remember, but you can see here you have a very faint line but almost invisible, and there you have this kind of magenta with a little bit of blue on top, and that is what makes this ink. And there you see no water resistance as expected. So I don't remember if I showed this before. If I didn't, I showed now. If I did, I showed it twice. Now let's just see the final writing with both pens. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and you can see here with this Caveco Perqueo with fine nib, it really is concentrated. It is kind of a wet nib, although it is finer, so I think it concentrates a lot of ink in a very small area. And then we have the student that will put the same amount of ink, I would say, in over a larger area, and so you can see more shading. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And if you ask me, is this strange? Maybe, but it's what happens. So I think I'm doing the right thing in using two different pens to show the writing experience. I make the swatches here with the knife, as you see. It shows the ink very well. It shows all it can do on paper, but then when we use it with pens, the writing experience is different. It will be different depending on the pen that you're using, and this is my best to try to show you what happens with inks. So this is the day 8, sorry. I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, I hope to see you here tomorrow. So, bye.